So further to the e-bike conversion, these are my front forks. They are a RockShox, and you're seeing the exploded view here. So they're a disc brake model, so they don't have the overhead brakes. And you're seeing the exploded view, as I say, because they were shot. What I noticed was when they were on, there was a lot of wiggle like that motion. And that is because these shims here have worn out. They sit on here and they keep it nice and tight. So I pulled it all apart, and basically you've got fluid that sits down here and fluid in here. You've got fluid in the bottom, and then you've got fluid in the top. There was none in the bottom. And then what came out of the top was a mix of oil and water. So that's the years of living in Darwin, is that water has got into here and basically stuffed them. This looked really, really bad when I first pulled it apart, but now that the water's all evaporated away from it, it actually doesn't look too bad. Anyway, I decided to take the advice of when the shims are shot to get a new set. Now these forks can sometimes be close to the cost of the bike, but I managed to find some online, and RockShox 2, I haven't opened them yet. I did my very, very best to get the exact same ones. So you've got around about 30 mil here, and you've got 28 here at the top. That's really important. I don't believe that is considered tapered. I think in a tapered one, they're actually a bit fatter down here. I'm not exactly sure. So this is the bike sitting over here. I've just gone and cable tied the handlebars to there to keep all the tension off my electronics. And here's your bearings and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've measured all of this sort of stuff. Possibly it is tapered. I'm not exactly sure yet. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is open up the box and start making a comparison, and hopefully I've ordered the right part. All right, so this is the replacement part, and all the sizes look good. What's important for me was this is 260. That's also 260. All the spaces from here down to here, the lengths are all correct. And it's got a manual lockout, which is what I wanted. And yeah, this one does have the option of brakes over the top, but I won't be using those. And of course, that's what we're looking for. That push down, I don't know if you can see that much, but it's nice, it feels good. Now there is a anchor that lives in there for the steering stem bolt. This one does not have it, and I don't think the other one's going to come out of the other one because they're designed to lock in. So I don't know that the bike is going to be assembled today. I might have to look around for that, or if I'm lucky, maybe just go down to the bike shop and see if they've got one. Let's see how we go. Have everything just placed back together, if you like. So what you've got here is this collar, and underneath is a seal, and that actually cushions down as you tighten up this guy here at the top. Now what you'll see is it's just not sitting flush there. It's not countersunk. So what I could do is I could spend time filing this down, because my other one does actually come down just a couple of mil. Or I've got to go to the bike store anyway to get the star nut, that's the anchor, to go in here. So what I'll probably do is ask them for another one of these spaces. So I'll take one of those with me, and that should lift that up enough for this to now be countersunk, and then I can screw into it. So we'll see how we go with that. But otherwise, yeah, everything has just slotted into place really, really well. Look, I'm keen to get it on the road, but I'm just exercising patience here because, look, you know, who wants to go over the handlebars of their bike? So I'm just going to take it easy, be methodical, get all the right parts, even if I have to spend a little bit more money. The RockShox 2, I omitted to say earlier, I got them off eBay for $190, including shipping. So I'm actually really quite wrapped with that, because these RockShox, you know, depending on which ones you get, like I said, could be the value of the bikes. The ones that I was seeing was like, you know, over $500. I didn't have to put RockShox on here just because the bike came with them. I could put anything that I wanted, as long as it had, you know, the stem length, the steerer was the correct length, and it was a 26-inch, and the travel was the same, and the width was the same, as long as it had the same specs. And in fact, I did look at ones on AliExpress, and they were, you know, around about 150 or something. I can't remember the names of them, but I looked at the reviews, and for the type of work that I'm doing on this bike, it would have been absolutely suitable. But I've pretty much managed to replace close to the originals. The drawback, I'm told, with these ones are they're quite heavy, so this is actually going to reduce my braking effectiveness. As I've said in my previous videos, with all of this kit on the bike and the battery, and myself on there, I've noticed that this it does take a bit more to pull it up. So I haven't managed to save weight, which was what I did want to actually set out to do. But hey, you can't have everything. When you've got an old bike, you've got to try and match up your specs, and that's getting harder and harder to do. Anyway, I'll go get my parts from the bike store, and then we'll go from there. So when am I going to learn to take the part to the bike shop with me? I took the old part, but what I noticed now is that the gauge of this tube here is much thicker than that one. The outside diameter is the same, but the inside diameter is not. Therefore, the little star nut is different. So anyway, he gave me this one, and it happens to be right. So I've managed to pull a Homer, which is to succeed despite incompetence. And I've also managed to get an extra spacer, which will lift this up, which I'll do afterward. And so I'm just going to use a block of wood on this. Actually, no, I'm not, because that'll push the flanges down. I'm actually going to hit in the middle here. So I might put the nut in there, and then use the rubber mallet to knock it in, and then only if it starts to tilt will I actually put force on the side to correct it. So that's going to be interesting. I don't have a tripod to do that, so I need two hands, but we'll see how we go. So getting the first layer of fins in was the hardest bit, so I managed to get it in, and then I actually just used a screwdriver to target the area that was sticking out, and then I just moved my way around. So now I'm going to actually just, you know, put in the next layer, and I'm just going to be very careful about how far down I go, because there's no coming back. So this is perfect, exactly what I was after. So a nice little bit of countersunk clearance here, and then I've actually just put this bolt and seat on there, and then what I did, I just screwed it in enough, and then I actually just belted it down a little bit further, and that's more than enough now to take this. Now the important thing here is that as far as your steering connectivity to your forks is concerned, is these two here, the clamp here. This one here really is to just bring all of that together. And so like the bearing of a car, my understanding is that you torque it all up and then you back it off a bit, because you actually want movement. So that's the important thing here, is from what I understand, the research that I've done, is you don't over tighten this. You tighten it up and then you just back it off a little bit. So I suppose if I had some, I'd probably put some Loctite on this, so that way wherever I set it, it stays. So very pleased with this. I'm just going to get the rest of the bike back together, and then I look forward to taking it for a ride. So that's it, that's all done, and it's all sitting really nice. I've just taken it for a bit of a spin, and it is just such a comfortable ride. This is just moving so well now. There's such cushion there, it's really, really nice. I was so glad that the studs were correct for my brakes. This is a new part, so it all looks new. Definitely need to fix my tyre, get a new one. And then the next bit is the clearance. I've got to order in some pedals, because the clearance there is not the same as the clearance there. But what you do is you just buy a new left-hand pedal that has a what do you call it, has a curve, an S curve. It'll come out to here, and that will tidy up how I actually pedal and sit on it. So very happy. That's how much power it's got.